games won by the home teams. Jalen Hurts didn't finish the last meeting. It's the only game Philadelphia has not won in the last 15. Jaden Daniels is on some kind of run, and he and the Commanders come in here Sunday on Fox, 3 Eastern for the NFC Championship.
How about that? The hottest quarterback, Jaden Daniels, coming in here against the #1 defense in the National Football League. It should be fantastic.
It's a pretty fun story. And what a night tonight as we wrap up this season. It's been a really cool season. We've had the 2 playoff games that have been one-score games, and both were thrilling, especially this scene in the snow here in Philadelphia.
Partner, between you and this crew, it's been unbelievable. About 200 people that travel every week with us, and thank you guys and gals so much.
Yeah, great, wonderful team. We have enjoyed so much bringing you Sunday Night Football throughout the year, these couple of playoff games. Best to our colleagues at CBS and Fox as they wrap.
Okay, this game was wild. This game was wild. This is exactly what you want out of playoff football. This is exactly what you want out of playoff football. I mean, it just coming down to the wire at 1 minute. It's like, nope, the Eagles got this in the bag, and then a missed extra point. And then, and then a quick score by the Rams, and then a bizarre drive by the Eagles, which now the Rams get the ball back on the other side of the 2-minute warning. Oh my goodness. I mean, this was a game. This was a game. I mean, credit to the Rams to really battling back. This was clearly the Eagles' game. I mean, they were the ones in control, but it just kept being little things that kept the Rams in the game. But I mean, Jalen Hurts, he was so patient on the throws, which then sets up the RPO for then a huge run by Jalen to put up the touchdown. And then he's the one that audibled into for Saquon for that huge touchdown, for that 62-yarder. And then Saquon's other touchdown was, of course, just like, bro, get to work. And what does he do? What was it, a 78-yard touchdown run? I mean, the special teams was on point too, minus Elliott, but in terms of like no dumb penalties, anytime it was like 4th and 3, 4th and 4, nothing that you were just like, that was a mistake that need not happen. The one drop by A.J. Brown, I mean, you can chalk it up to the weather, the snow. Other players were dropping the balls too. That's a tough one. The Lane Johnson false start. And then, of course, a couple of the missed extra points from Jake Elliott. But he made the field goal. So it's like, it's just dicey, man. It's just dicey. But the fumbles, Jalen Carter punching it out. I mean, like, these were big moments. Big moments. To start the second half, it went punt, field goal, punt, fumble, punt. Boom. That's the game right there, man. Punt, field goal, punt, fumble, punt. I mean, like, that's a song. Punt, field goal, fumble. I mean, like, it's just wild. It honestly was wild. The defense really stepped up. And this is what I said. When everyone was like, oh, the weather, it's going to be a favor either the Eagles or it's going to favor the Rams. And I was like, no, man. Stop acting like you guys know exactly how this is all going to happen with the weather. Like, it's crazy out there. And especially when the field is slippery. That's why I said it was going to be advantage Matthew Stafford. But if it's a wet ball and snow's actually coming down, then it's going to be harder to catch. And so it's different. You don't really know. And then even, Darius Slay in the postgame, he said, they were like, oh, how'd the weather impact you? And he said, they know where they want to go. I don't know where they want to go on defense. And that's why it is advantage to the route runner. And they handled it great, man. They handled it great. Everyone stepped up, even dealt with some injuries. I mean, this game was wild. And this is the game we won. Eagles, Commanders, NFC Championship game. This is as good as it gets. I mean, the best NFC Championship game that you could get was either going to be the Eagles, Lions, or Eagles, Commanders. It's just that simple. This is box office, 2 massive franchises. One franchise that has been awesome for the last 20 plus years, literally since 2000. And then the Commanders, who just completely just said, hey, we're going to hit the reset button and we're going to be great from the jump. This game was wild. They went after Stafford. I mean, Jalen Carter's huge sack to pretty much, make it 4th and long on the final drive. I mean, that was right there. Saquon, 26 carries, 205 yards, 7.9 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 15 for 20, 128, 6.4 yards per attempt, 7 carries. 6 carries for 71 yards rushing. He had 7 sacks for 63. That was the rough one, and the safety was rough one. Some of the play calling was suspect at times for sure. This is one of those things where Jalen Hurts definitely made a couple mistakes, but he was also left on an island a few times because of the play calling, which I, did not agree with. And then also his numbers would have been even better if A.J. Brown catches that touchdown, if Lane Johnson doesn't, get the false start, if Devontae Smith gets his head taken off. If he doesn't, he catches that ball. That's like another 45 yards or whatever it was. So it was like, Jalen Hurts did what needed to be done. He managed that game. He really only made like one real bad throw in the end zone that could have been picked off. Fortunate not, but compare that to Matthew Stafford, who's an elite passer. The dude put the ball in harm's way like 7 different times. And again, Coach Dan Casey, which I'll talk about in the videos throughout this week, it's like, don't judge a quarterback just on passing yards. Judge how they run the offense. That Saquon Barkley touchdown was 100% all Jalen Hurts. He's the one that orchestrated that. He orchestrated that, and, that's what it takes to know how to run the offense. And then again, when they were driving and it was 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, having, it was 4th and 4 and putting the ball in Jalen Hurts' hand as he's already banged up and injured, inside 9 minutes in the 4th quarter in the snow, they're asking him to throw, boom, hits A.J. Brown. Big time, big time, big time, big time. This game was awesome. This game was awesome. And again, it's a bummer because the Rams really did bring it. This was a great energy. The snow made this game wildly unpredictable. Wow. Because you couldn't get comfortable in this game. You couldn't get comfortable no matter who you were. When the Eagles were up 3 or then when they were up 2, I think it was, there was a bunch of random scores in here. Then they're up 6 and it was just like, even when they were up 13, you're like, well, there's still plenty of time left. Stafford is an all-time great, not an all-time great. He's a great quarterback, a top quarterback. But he's definitely special. He's arguably an all-time talent, but not an all-time career because of everything that happened with him in Detroit and all that. But clearly a special quarterback. And this game wasn't over because I was watching this with some people and they were like, oh, that's the game now. And I'm like, no, it's not. There's plenty of time left. And I would not be shocked if Matthew Stafford's able to march down the field, score a touchdown. And then it's all the pressure on the Eagles to convert some downs, get some first downs. And they didn't. And then boom, here we are, 22-28. It was the game was in the balance. The game was in the balance. And that's what makes it exciting, though. I know if you're an Eagles fan, you don't want it. You just want to win big, and I get it. I do, but at the end of the day, if you could tweak everything exactly how you want it, this is what you would want. You still want, if you're an Eagles fan, you want the Eagles to win, but you want the action, you want the drama, you want the intensity, you want Matthew Stafford to think he's about to win a game-winning drive, and then just to get Jalen Carter just on top of him. Jalen Carter punching that fumble out. It's just big moments all around. Then the Nolan Smith fumble on Stafford. This was a special game, man. This was special. This is the definition of playoffs. And then again, they kept talking about the Rams like, oh, they're not used to the snow. The Eagles aren't. This isn't Buffalo. The Philadelphia Eagles don't have this long history of playing in the snow. This was a rough game for everyone involved. And the Eagles stepped up. Again, the Eagles made mistakes. And the mistakes that they made I do not think it's good enough to go up against the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, heck, even the Commanders, the way Jaden Daniels is playing right now. But it's hard to judge because of the weather. Both teams were kind of, slipping and sliding, so that you can't hold their feet to the fire too much. Like, I don't, I'm not going to crash on A.J. Brown for dropping that ball because Puka Nacua dropped a ball. It just happens. But the Lane Johnson was a tough one. The missed extra points are a tough one. And I feel like those were really the main mistakes. And then a couple play calling mistakes. I'm just kind of like, what are you doing? Again, putting Jalen Hurts in the end zone. It's like, it was, what was it, like 2nd and 5 or 3rd and 5? Like, just hand the ball off. Just hand the ball off. You don't have to get fancy. It's the weather. Everyone is slipping and sliding. You can't even expect Jalen Hurts to do what he normally does. Now he's banged up. You're pinned at the back of the end zone. It's difficult to see because the snow is coming down. Like, that's the type of stuff that these coaches struggle so much. I see it all the coaches. And I think it's because they're too zoomed in. They don't always know how to manage the game of the emotions of the players. And it's something that's always very obvious to me, probably because I'm not so locked into the actual game plan itself, because I don't know all the X's and O's like Sean McVay, obviously, but I do know human behavior. I do know that. And it's just like, you have to sometimes understand what to put on your players in any given moment. And it was just like, that's not the time. That's not the moment. You know, it's just not, as we see when Saquon Barkley rips off, you know, a massive touchdown, multiple massive touchdown runs. So, you know, it's just sometimes you just got to do what you need to do, even if it's predictable. Sometimes you go up against the other team and say, this is what we're going to do, and you can't stop us because we are better than you. And that's what I said going into this game. The Philadelphia Eagles straight up are just better than the Rams. The way the Rams win this game is by an ugly, messy game like this. And lo and behold, that's what it almost came down to. So just wild. And all those people that tried to question the offensive line after Kelsey went away and Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton. You, where you at? Where you at? I can't hear you. Oh, Saquon Barkley's overrated. Saquon Barkley's overrated. Yeah, just broke the Eagles' record for rushing playoffs to over 205 yards. I mean, just 7.9 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. I mean, I took so much heat this offseason saying, oh, Saquon Barkley, and Dan Graziano and Nick Ribe, and they're not a Saquon Barkley away from being a special team. Saquon Barkley is actually kind of overrated. He only had 1 good year. Yeah, well, you know what? What year is this then? What year is this then? Man, just madness. It's almost like every single take that people had for the Philadelphia Eagles going into the season was wrong. And believe me, I took so much heat. Because you know what? I said the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the division and the Commanders are going to be in the playoffs through the wild card. I haven't been paying attention to football right now. Who's in the NFC Championship game right now? Can someone tell me who's in the NFC Championship game? Oh, that's right. Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Yeah, that's right. I was called a hater. I was biased. I'm this, I'm that. Guys, I also took so much heat because I said the Philadelphia Eagles have been one of the best run, most successful franchises, you know, of the last like 25 years. And people are like, what are you talking about? They only have 1 Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. Guys, just in the last 7 years alone, the Eagles have been to 3 NFC Championship games. The Dallas Cowboys haven't been to an NFC Championship game in over 30 years. Like, what are we talking about here? Dak Prescott has had 2 playoff wins. The Eagles have now been to 2 Super Bowls and 3 NFC Championship games since Dak Prescott has been drafted. And don't tell me, well, the Eagles have a better roster. I thought the Dallas Cowboys are this great team. I thought they have an awesome roster. That's what I'm trying to say, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Madness. This game was awesome. I'm all fired up. Honestly, the Commanders-Lions game, I was fired up. This Eagles-Rams game was all fired up. Now I'm excited for the Bills-Ravens game. I'm filming this like right before that game starts, so I have no idea what's happening there. For all I know, the score is already 21-0 by the time, you know, you watch this video. You know, I don't know. But this was money. And this is what we need as NFL fans, man. This is why the NFL is undefeated. Because this game was wild. This game was unpredictable. The Commanders-Lions game, unpredictable, wild. And now we got Eagles, Commanders, 2 massive rivals where the Commanders have been nothing for like literally 2 decades. They've been an embarrassment, a laughingstock, nothing. And then the owner of the Commanders also owns the 76ers. What is this, some soap opera? This is the stuff that my mom watches on her reality TV shows right now, or, you know, Days of Our Lives, or whatever the heck that stuff is called. General Hospital, I don't know. I mean, like, this is wild. This is box office leading into this game, into this week on Sunday. I think it's Sunday at 3 o'clock. Wild. And that's why I said on the live stream last night, the Lions versus the Commanders, I said the Eagles got to win. Because I was like, a Commanders-Rams NFC Championship game, that doesn't move the needle. Who cares? The Rams and the Commanders, oh, who cares? Seriously, what is that? That's nothing. The Eagles and the Commanders at the link? Because it was going to be in LA. I mean, come on, man. Come on. No. Wild. I cannot wait for this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of people look silly. Kellen Moore's not good. Fangio, Miami Dolphins couldn't get rid of Fangio fast enough. How good of a GM is Howie Roseman? He just drafts whoever is popular. Whoever the media likes. So the media praises him because the media said that those players were good. Saquon Barkley, they just overpaid for an old, aging running back. Jalen Hurts is not good enough. A.J. Brown is a baby. Devontae is too skinny. Kelsey lost. What are they going to do for leadership? Who's going to be their center? Nick Sirianni. The Detroit Lions are better. Philadelphia Eagles are in the NFC Championship game. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles pulled off. That's what they did. And they dealt with their adversity. They dealt with their injuries. They dealt with their drama. They dealt with their bad losses. They dealt with the snow. They are forged in an iron gauntlet of cheesesteaks, water ice, and soft pretzels, man. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? I'm losing my voice. This has been a wild weekend of football. I've been live streaming, making videos, screaming, chanting for all teams all around the literal country. But let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this game. How do you think it unfolded? Who you got in the NFC Championship game? Let me know. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.